Welcome traveler, I'm Free2Play and I'm your guide for successful free-to-play adventure on Terra. Today I explain to you how the fortune board works and how to get your desired strongest weapon in the game. After doing this little sub-quest here, you just enter this little tent where this Kate is going to show you how this game works, and it is funny that it has only 2 slides, not even telling you the basic steps you have to do, and I was like, okay, maybe it is a simple game, but there are a few things to have to consider, but I'll tell you everything now. At first you get to the beginner's board, which has the following rewards, and you only get those rewards by getting to the reward spot, and this is the one with the flag here. So getting on reward spot 1 gets you the Traveler Sacred Seal here, for instance, and getting on the goal panel gets you the 50 rubies in this case. Okay, the enemy strength and the game tickets. You can invest 0 game tickets, but your bonus will go to 0.1%, which is not really huge. But what is a bonus? I will tell you later. If you increase the enemy strength, you get up to 100% of bonus. But if you invest more game tickets, you don't have to do this stage again and again and again. It just multiplies here, so this is very good. And altogether you can get to 16% of bonus. But at first I'll just reduce everything here because I don't know what the strength really is. You can see the danger level 20 right, so let's see how strong or weak the enemies really are. I have to mention that when you fail your attempt, then you won't get any bonus, but you get the medals you have obtained until this point. So what do you need the medals for? For the new assault weapon, new armor and stuff. The main target should be your new soul weapons, and these are called fortune weapons, which are the strongest in the game, and I've heard they are still in JP. So this is your main object here. You have other weapons like the prophetic bow, which grants automatic SP recovery. You also have armors here, which grants HP recovery from itself and are not really bad. So these stats are huge if you have enemies which are doing both types of attacks. So you can consider buying them too. Keep in mind that from wealth you get a bow, staff and tome weapons. From power you get only sword and lance. And from fame you get dagger, axe and fan. 15,000 sounds like a lot, but it is not. I will show you why in a minute. And you can put 4 souls in it. And putting attacking type souls in it is the best thing here, because they're giving up to 120 physical attack, for example. And you can put 2 of them in your weapon and you still have 2 slots left. And there are 3 characters in particular which are profiting from this so much. These are Tikilen, which is a sword unit. But with these improvements, you can make her the strongest win DPS in the game. She also has her mercenary spirit, which is also boosting the elemental attack. So I think the developers want you to make her that strong. Then you have Yan Long, who has a rod with elemental attack of 460, but if you do it vice versa, then you have a really strong staff, which he's profiting from so much because he's only concentrating on physical attack. And then you have Glossom, who I'm going to push because of the Dancer's Tribe, which are going on right now. So I want to make him as strong as possible so that I'm able to do that in the next day. And I will go through the instruction of building his fortune fan in the next minute, so stay tuned. So back to the fortunes board. We're at the beginner's board right now, and we can throw a dice. We have limited die throws, and so in the lower right corner you can see left 9. So if you exceed this, you're going to fail this board. There are different types of tiles here. Some reward you with leaves, some give you more medals, some inflict damage to 1 unit, some inflict damage to all of your units, some give you lots of historic fragments. With some you can boost the strength of enemies but also increase the bonus. There's also one tile you can decide if you toughen up or soften, if you want more bonus or less. There are also tiles you have to make a decision, you get a benefit from it or not. Sometimes it goes not well and sometimes it does. There are tiles which make enemies appear, but they are not as strong as the bosses in the game. You can lose dice with some tiles, and the baddest of all, a tile which just annihilates one of your units. So if you have, bring at least 2 units which can heal those units. So if you reach the reward spot, you will be congratulated and get the reward, and you can always check if there's something missing. You can also move freely around the map, so you can see where to go, where are the most bonuses to get. Or how much steps can I take before I run out of dice? Sometimes you have to make a decision if you go a direction, and as you can see here, if I did not go this direction, I would have missed the reward. And lastly, I boost to 4 times so that I can throw 4 dice at once. So you walk at least 4 tiles, which can come in handy if you're standing directly before this panel here. So choose wisely when to do it. And you can throw your dice 1 more time, and if you roll a 6, you have the bonus of 1/5 and can roll again. So these medals are not enough to craft any fortune weapons, so we get into the traveler's board and we increase the enemy strength by 2. By the way, if you run out of fortune tickets, you can exchange them in the soul chart exchange, but you can only stack up 10 in 1 week, so you have to consider that. If I'm boosting the enemy strength, I'm at level 37, so I think in the first stages you're good to go if you just increase to 5 from the beginning. The jump from danger level 25 to 60 is a lot, but I'm just trying my luck here and I go to enemy strength 3. And right at the beginning there's a split path, so you get into the conversation with this little fella here from the beginning of the game, and you have to choose again wealth, power and fame. And if you have decided for one way, you can't return, but you can still play this board again to take another route. And depending on the route which you have taken, you have to fight the semi-final bosses from the Masters chapters, and you will clearly see that you can't get onto every reward spot here. So for every Traveler Sacred Seal you have to get onto path 1, you have to choose wealth and you have to choose power 2. At the end there's the Gameboard Beast, which tries to annihilate your run, which has a really strong nuke here, but apart from that it's no problem. So as you can see here, I only have the Champion of Powers board ready, so we have to get into the Master's board again, and I just increase the strength to 5 as I said before. Now this section is skippable, and now I'm deciding for wealth. At the end you're going to fight Sonya again, which at level 5 does hit hard and inflicts paralysis, but apart from that you should be good. So now you get 3 more Traveler Sacred Seals, and now you're here again, so you have to repeat that. But this time I got a lucky roll, yay! So you skip that again and choose fame, but this is going to be hard because she's dealing 5 times damage and can almost took out my whole front row. So these opponents are glass cannons. They are so vulnerable, but they can hit so hard. So now you have every champion's board ready to tackle the improvement of your desired weapon. I go for fame to boost the fortune fan because I need more fame metal to get the required items. And with the first tile I get 150 fame medals, so this is amazing. At strength 3 the enemies are not as hard here, but taking the upper route here can end up in 2 less dice. I was lucky here. But then you fight August again in his first form, and he has more weaknesses than before, and his normal attack is really hard, so I can't imagine if the strength is 4 or 5. So maybe play it safe and increase the value step by step so that you know what you're capable of. So the medal outcome is amazing, but it can be much more, because for the Fan of Fortune I need 15,000 of those fame medals. So let's get into it again and just try out the enemy strength 5. And I can't say I only got onto the reward spot 2, because this little warrior is just the hardest enemy in the game right now. This nuke is just killing everything, so I just don't know how hard August is then. But if you choose to spend more game tickets, then you can get so much medals in no time. So let's buy the Fan of Fortune and the brilliant Master's Soul, which we need, and we need the lovely Soul Fortune box, and I needed to buy 20 of them to get 2 times the lovely Power Soul, which I need. Then we go to the Soul Mapping menu and choose the Fan of Fortune, and in the first spot we just slot in the brilliant Master Soul, and I want lots of physical attack. So if I get this result here with more elemental attack, I just used a Void Dust to get rid of it and slot it in again, because these souls or the loot boxes are too expensive to get more of those, so use the Void Dust instead. The second result was a lot better, so this is amazing for the start. We also got crit up 20 for every soul which we just slot in. So let's take the next. We have the lovely Power Soul, and I want to get the first slot here, which grants only physical attack, and the range goes to 100, which is really amazing, and I want that. I only got 59 with my first result, but this is fine, just showing you guys what these weapons are capable of. And if you don't like your result, just use the Void Dust again, because the souls from the loot boxes are too expensive too. And the 56 is suiting this soul better anyway. Let's go for the last soul we have. Because I don't have a Glossom soul, I'll exchange the Hasumi soul here so that I can slot in a fan soul to get the last addition of crit up and to get the last improvement of physical attack up. So this is the finished Fortune fan right now. And just to do a little comparison here with the Berserk fan, which has the most physical attack of all the weapons right now, you can clearly see the difference. It also has more physical defense and elemental defense, and the crit up is amazing. So imagine a Lars or a Scarecrow with this crit up, amazing. So I'm eager to build so much of those fortune weapons right now. So that's about it. If you have any more questions about the fortune sport, just don't hesitate and ask in the comments or on my Discord group. And if you'd like this channel to class up, I really appreciate a subscription and thumbs up. See you next time. You're free to play.